Hello everyone! If you're trying to build a career in coding or design, it can be overwhelming. So it's not about using a tool like Figma for design or like a coding language like Python when it comes to programming. It affects how much you earn, what is the demand, and most importantly, what is your passion. So what I have here is a diagram. So you can use this diagram to have, three different directions when it comes to choosing your pathway. The first one that I chose personally for myself was the design pathway. So in 2025, if you basically want to choose the design pathway, you have kind of three different options when it comes to industry standard tools. Figma is the, industry standard. 5 years ago when I started design, my career was basically all over the place. I was using InVision. There were other design tools I don't remember, like Adobe XD, but I chose Figma, and 5 years later Figma is still relevant. So that's why when I started using Figma, I used it mostly on a product designer role. Again, all my career experience was product designer role, so Figma is the go-to tool when it comes to product design. However, you might not want to build basically softwares. You might want to build websites and web experiences. So if you decide to do that, Webflow and Framer is the tools to go with. So Webflow and Framer, they are a website builder. So it helps you actually build a full-scale website when it comes to content management system. As of now, Figma is actually trying to introduce their own website builder called Figma Site, but I think Figma is a long way from getting there. Webflow is, in my opinion, way ahead of the game. So if your career path is building websites for clients, also if you enjoy doing freelance work and start your agency, then choosing Webflow as a tool, in my opinion, can be really good. Again, I didn't choose that for my career. I'll get to that in a bit, but these tools are good for website builders. You can use Figma if you decide to do web design. So web design, you design the websites in Figma, but they're not working. So that's why you can design really good experiences, but they're mostly mock-ups and wireframes. So Figma can be used for web design, but if you do want to have a fully functional website, you have to choose website builder tools if you want to have like a no-code approach. Another pathway that some designers take is a research pathway. So the research pathway, you choose your tool, and most examples is user testing and optimal. Again, there are many user research tools. I don't have any experience with using any research tool in my career, so I know these tools based on my experience working with researchers, and the end goal is to become a UX researcher. I also have to mention, I also worked with two different type of researchers. Some researchers don't even use any of these tools. They just use manual Word document and basically write their surveys and questions and do their interviews on Zoom. So they gather feedback that way. So for UX research, you really don't need to use tools. However, for design, you definitely need a tool to work. But for UX research, you can get away with not using tools if that is your pathway and if you are interested in doing UX research. And also when it comes to coding, you have kind of two different pathways. One is the backend coding and the other one is front-end coding. If you use technologies like JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, they all go hand in hand to help you become a good web developer. And as you know, Figma is a web-based application, which means it uses technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. For its front end, I know it uses more complex tools, but these are again the core tools that Figma uses when it comes to building software like Figma. I also connected JavaScript to the backend engineers because you can use JavaScript to actually do backend coding. But other languages, Python and SQL, are used also for backend if you want to become an engineer or if you even want to basically have a career in technology. So what did I choose and what was my career? Before I get into that, so I have some boxes and I color coded them. The black is expert level, the green is intermediate, and then the beige is the basic level. The red is my end career goal, and the purple is my other career goals in general. So the pathway that I chose for myself was the design pathway. So I started as a designer and I only focused on one tool, which was Figma 5 years ago. I felt I became very expert at it, and all my roles for the past 5 years was product design role / user experience designer / UI designer. They all go hand in hand. So I ended up finding a full-time job and I worked as a full-timer as a product designer. Also on the side, I've been teaching part-time, again here on YouTube and also on Udemy, again because I enjoy doing design. So I use my free time to teach and basically share my experience to the others. Also, I've been doing part-time freelancing on Upwork using the product design pathway. So I highlighted this pathway as black because I'm more confident in design when it comes to my skills. At the same time, when I was learning design, I also chose the coding pathway because again, my passion was not doing research. If I actually did research, it would have complemented my design more, but I enjoyed doing coding more. Again, coding complements your design skills as well. It helps you talk with engineers better. That's why I highlighted it as beige. I feel my skills are intermediate when it comes to HTML and CSS. I also learned JavaScript and React.js. Again, my JavaScript and programming language is basic, and I connected all of these again back to product design. Why? Because coding really complemented my career as a designer. I had really easy time talking to developers. And if you notice in my YouTube channel, I talk about how you can convert your Figma assets into real life coding components. So again, because I learned coding and I have the basic knowledge of coding, that helps me a lot. If you enjoy doing design system, definitely this career pathway adds a lot of complements to your design career. Another pathway that I'm also going to pursue is Python. Again, Python, if you remember, if I go to the pathways, it is used for backend stuff. Again, backend engineering has nothing to do with front end. So if you know backend, basically you are like a hardcore programmer. So the reason I'm learning Python now as a designer is artificial intelligence, as I mentioned. So this helps me with my, again, YouTube journey. I want to share my Python knowledge with everyone. Whatever I learn, again, I'm a beginner Python developer. So as a designer, I want to complement my design career with knowing how backend knowledge work, as well as, again, the key driver is AI. So hopefully if I learn Python with my coding knowledge, a little bit basics, and with my Figma knowledge, I can build, extensions, softwares, and AI tools, and that will help my career. And again, that's why I have these as pink and I haven't highlighted them as red. I hope sharing my experience was helpful, and then this helps you with your journey. And whatever I learn when it comes to Python and coding, I'll share my experience again in this channel. So if you're interested to learn more about artificial intelligence as well as design and coding, I'll be happy to post videos.